call this meeting to order. We do have a full quorum, and then we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance that will be offered by Lindsay Fox. And if you can just come up to the mic, that'd be great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lindsay. And as you can see, we do have a full quorum today. Is there any items or conflicts of interest on the agenda today for any of those on the Planning Commission? All right, then we'll move on to item 1.4, which is approval of minutes for March 7th, 2019 and March 21st, 2019.
I had a minor issue on March 21st. It had me as making a comment, but I wasn't here.
Could be a problem, so I'll take it. I made that comment, whatever it was.
He was on page 2, under item 2.4.
That was amended?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, it was amended. All right, so ask for approval of minutes for March 7th, 2019 and March 21st, 2019 with the amended item that Jackson just commented on.
Who was here both those? I was. I guess I move to approve item 1.1, the two different.
Oh, 1.4?
Yeah. I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we'll move on to item 2, which is administrative items. And we'll move to 2.1, which is a request for conditional use permits for the Stampede, Rawhide, and Hard Lick downhill trails, and a realignment to a portion of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. We'll turn to city staff to start, but since the applicant is a city, do we want to move on?
Yeah, I'll start real quick, and then I'll probably have Wendy or Dory talk about it, whoever wants to talk about it. The first three are, I'll show you where the area is. Clear up here, on top of the mountain, so you can see where they are. 3 different trails, and I'll have Wendy explain them. And then there's also, like we said, a realignment of a portion of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. So we're approving all of those. So Wendy, Jory, whoever wants to explain in fabulous detail what you're doing.
Okay, I guess they just wanted me to stand up here because I look like a guy who needs some exercise and needs a trail and could benefit from the use of a trail in here. So if you have questions or if there's more to talk about relative to those trails. This specific stretch is some dedicated bicycle downhill. And this, if you've kind of located this is high, kind of directly south of the Black Ridge Reservoir area in that deeper canyon to the east side as you go south. So there's an access, or the Rawhide is kind of an access, or an up and back, could be an up and back, but it's access to the top of a downhill for the downhill bike only. And then the Stampede is a lesser elevation drop, or a little less steep downhill ride also. So this is just the next installment in what we would like to see as a larger network of trails through our, what is hope is a nice recreational open space through the properties that are being acquired. And this is a good fit, and we have a little money to do this piece, and we're thinking maybe you guys would think it's okay too. You might say yes.
And only question I have is the Footloose and Eric, are those all completed?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the ones you see that are in dark or solid lines are completed trails.
Is the double track done as well on the Footloose?
Single track, multi-use. The trail that you see that's there is single track, multi-use trail.
Okay. As on the Footloose, I see that a portion of it's double track. I was just curious if all those were completed or not.
Yes.
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 Answer's yes.
The blue.
I hear yes back here. Okay. Okay.
And that, oh, I see what you're talking about now. That old double track section is actually just an alignment of old four-wheeler
Okay.
traffic that has been there historically.
All right.
About this one, Jory?
And then this is just, and this brings up a little bit of an idea that it would be nice to feel like even the trails that we just showed you, in concept and in fairly tight location, we have a design and an idea of how they will go. But in the actual construction, there's some liberty for those to change and make more sense in features and the terrain that they actually build on. So there is some of that exercise that will happen as these go forward. And this is one that it's already been to you. You've seen it's this Bonneville Shoreline Trail access, but on the low end, we have this switchback pattern that now that we have a contractor there and he's looked at it, he said, oh, we need to adjust it like this to make more sense. So it's just you're just seeing simply an adjustment of the switchback pattern that they decided made more sense.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions from the Planning Commission? You are welcome to sit down.
Thank you very much.
And I will turn to the Planning Commission for any additional comments or a motion at this time.
No
Should
comments?
we make a motion then?
Yeah.
No comments, make a
I
motion?
don't have anything. No,
Okay.
I'm good. Go
Motion
for
to
it.
approve item 2.1, request for additional use permit or conditional use permit.
A motion from Lauren,
I'll second it.
a second from Adam. Lauren,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and Andrew.
Yes.
Item 2.1 passes, and we'll move on to item 2.2, which is on for a public hearing. And we'll turn to the staff for remarks first.
All right, so this is a preliminary subdivision plat for 2 lots on, excuse me, on 7530 West. Property is currently zoned 8.25. It's a 1-acre lot. See it there? So they're proposing, again, just 2 lots. It's not quite half and half. They're making one of the lots larger than the other. They do have quite a bit of road dedication on this plat that they're required to do as part of the plat. So again, it's pretty straightforward. They did have a neighborhood meeting, and like I said, this is on for a public hearing.
Okay. And I'm going to read the public comment, then I'll turn to the applicant. So the purpose of public comment is to allow citizens to address items on the agenda. Citizens requesting to address the commission will be asked to complete a written comment form and present it to Wendy Thorpe, the deputy recorder. In general, we will allow an individual 3 minutes to address the commission. A spokesperson recognized as representing a group in attendance may be allowed up to 5 minutes. And is it actually 2 minutes, Bryn? Or is it 3 minutes? So it's actually 2 minutes for an individual. So we will turn to the applicant at this time. And if you could just state your name.
My name is Tyler Fox. Any questions? Pretty straightforward. We think Bryn.
Is there any other items you'd like to share in regards to this?
Nope, not at all. I know it's they're requiring me to put a fence on the south boundary of this property. There'll eventually be a full fence around it as soon as I'm done building. So.
Okay. If there's no questions, we'll actually turn to the public meeting and then we may have some additional questions. So this is on for a public hearing. So if there's anyone who would like to address this, please come up to the mic. We will close the public hearing at this time and we'll turn to the City Planning Commission for any additional comments or questions that they may have.
I just have one on the engineering. Why are we requiring French drains? Can you tell me what's going on there? Is it a hole or is we've had issues in other parts of the city where we did that and they flooded other pieces. So I'm just curious why we're going with French drains in this area.
Just to keep the stormwater on site on that. It's a small, just 2 lots. So to prevent him from having to dig across the road to connect into the existing storm drain across the street.
Okay. Okay. That was my only question.
Any other comments from the planning commission?
Straightforward.
All right, then I will turn to the planning commission for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item 2.2 with staff 6 requirements.
Motion by Adam,
I'll second that.
second by Jackson. And we'll start on this end with Andrew,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
and Lauren.
Yes.
So that passes, and we'll move on to item 2.3, which is also on for a public hearing, and we'll turn to city staff.
All right, this is another two-lot subdivision. This is property that is, part of it's zoned commercial because you've rezoned it, part of it's in the process of being zoned commercial, but it will all eventually be commercial in the next couple weeks. So you can see the property is here on the north side of Harriman Boulevard. It's about 10 acres. See again here what we're talking about, the area. So again, this is kind of the south part of the Auto Mall parcels that we've been collecting. This is the kind of commercial retail frontage that we've been zoning commercial over the last couple months. At this point, the applicant is just proposing two commercial lots. These will be further subdivided as they develop the site, with different pads for commercial users. Right now, we're just doing two kind of super lots for a commercial subdivision. Again, they've got kind of a road running up the middle. That'll be kind of the main center road that runs up through the Auto Mall area too.
Thank you, Bryn.
Questions on this one?
At this time, we'll turn to the applicant, and if you don't mind just stating your name when you come up to the mic.
James Horsley.
Do you have any other additional items to share with us?
No, Bryn does a great job. I don't know if you guys have seen kind of the preliminary plat that we've had, kind of platted it out a little bit. Some of the fillers that we have out there now are gas stations, some fast food joints.
Sorry.
Oh,
It's
here
right
we go.
there.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're talking to a car wash, actually the Gorilla Car Wash you guys already have in the city right now. They're looking at a site here too as well. So that's kind of the plan, but as you know, things can change. That's why we're going with kind of just the open lots right now until we get some solid commitments.
All right, thank you so much. And you can have a seat and we'll turn to the public hearing. We'll open up the public hearing for item 2.3 at this time. And we'll close the public hearing at this time and turn to the City Planning Commission.
So another question I have is the 82-foot access road, I assume that's the one between the two lots?
Yeah, that's the one in the middle.
There is no requirement to construct that? Do you want us to have that built now? In the staff's recommendation, it only talks about Harriman Boulevard.
Yeah, no, they're to construct that with the,
Okay.
Right, it just says dedicate, yeah.
All it says is dedicate, so
okay.
I just want to make sure you want it built, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we do it.
I did want to, again, reiterate that this is an initial step in the marketing and the economic development of these properties. We fully anticipate seeing further subdivision requests come before you. Our zoning code does allow multiple buildings on a single parcel in a commercial area.
Yep.
But all parcels must front on a street, and that can be either a public or a private street, but it needs to be a street that meets city standards. So we will likely see further, amendments to this as the development matures.
Additionally, on drawing C101, I just have a question. Do we need additional right-of-way for I don't know if you can show me C101, but
I don't have it in here.
the 82-foot radius comes around and there's a piece that it's not dedicated to the city, the sidewalk.
This piece in the front?
So if you look kind of by the odd-looking reverse Utah shape on the far left of the gray there, keep going. Nope, not that far. Right, the 82-foot right-of-way. Right there.
Okay.
Right, keep going to the left.
Really?
Right there. The road radius is between the 82-foot right-of-way and the Harriman Parkway. And so it does look like you need additional radius or land dedicated to the city for the actual circle piece of that. You can really see it on this C-101 that you guys have in our packet. I don't know how else to say that, but here, I'll circle it and I'll pass it to you, staff, and you can tell me what you think. But I just want to make sure we get the right of way to ensure that the city's protected for our right of way. I know normally we include all of that,
Yeah.
but if you look, the sidewalk's actually not in the public right of way.
It does look like they'll need to
Okay.
cut a little notch out of there.
Okay. And do we have a name for the 82-foot right access, or is it just the 82-foot access road? And that'll be
That's why we're calling it 82-foot access road. because we
and
don't
it's
have
gonna be a
better-
public road, right?
Yes, it will be public
Okay.
road.
All right, then I'm ready to make a motion.
It's just a wider cross-section
But I'm just saying,
for
that
the
was
turn
my
lanes
issue.
and stuff.
Yeah. Jackson, do you have some
So I had a
comments?
question. If you can go back to the previous, or the other one. that
Site
had-
plan?
Yeah, there we
That
go. On the site plan here, it looks, we've also got item 5 under recommendations, says no driveway access onto Harriman Boulevard. But then we've got 2 access points onto Harriman Parkway. Is that all the same? Are those,
We are not approving any access point, we're not approving the site plan right now,
right?
just the 2 lots. So they
So
are
does that
showing
mean-
that.
So when they bring these back, then we'll talk about whether or not it's allowed?
Well, according to this, we wouldn't allow it, right?
Yeah, we won't allow it.
That's what I'm asking.
So the points would be on Main Street or this 85-foot,
82.
82-foot, sorry.
Over here, yeah. or-
Those would be where they would be allowed
And not the
with
little
this.
roads? Because coming off of 126, that is high traffic.
Is that correct, Bryn?
They can't
It'd
even
only
do
be
right in,
approved
right
on
out.
those 2 roads.
They can't even do right in, right out?
Do you know, Josh? No access on Harriman Parkway, Harriman Boulevard, whatever you want to call it.
Is it Parkway or Boulevard?
Yeah, we don't want any access over there. We just want the 82-foot roadway.
And
to
then
be
Main
the
Street
access into the
potentially as
side.
well. And Main Street potentially as
Down
well.
Main Street on this side, yeah.
So really, they would only have, this concept that they've presented would only really, would lose 2 of its 5 accesses.
Mm-hmm.
Can that still be,
But we're not approving the site plan.
Yeah, was the concept in the, I didn't even have that in
It
my
wasn't in
packet,
the packet.
actually.
it's on the screen right now.
Yeah.
No, it's not in the packet. No, I don't think it was in the packet.
There's no right in and right out, though? I mean, to be honest, right in and right out wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, we didn't put it in the packet because you're not
I mean,
approving it.
I'll be honest, right in, right out doesn't seem like an odd one, but I guess your point of saying no access would be
If
pretty
you
much.
want to remove that condition, that's fine. And then we can just, like you said,
I-
we can look
I
at it
like
when the
keeping it
site
for
comes
now.
in.
I like the idea of keeping it for now until maybe there's a study done of, because there's so much traffic on that road.
Well, if we leave it there now, then it's gonna be harder to get rid of the condition. I would just maybe we change it.
How
to
about no
say-
driveway access will be allowed on Harriman Boulevard unless a traffic study is provided to
Approved by
ensure
the
that.
city engineer.
And
There we go.
another question, isn't there the potential of making a right turn lane? Because isn't it wide enough to make a right turn lane off of this?
So we do a right in, right out?
Yeah, right in, right out is what would make sense to me.
Yeah, right in, right out would be the possibility.
Because I was thinking with the width of this right now, they still have the potential of putting a right turn lane coming into each one of those if that was an option.
I think we'll have trouble bringing viable commercial if we don't allow right in, right out right there. I think.
And I'm not opposed to having that if there's a turn lane outside of the current lanes, which there should be, but right now, obviously, there isn't.
I almost wonder if we just should say no driveway access unless they're right in, right out only.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense too, at least
Because
from my opinion.
Because then it just controls it.
I wonder if you want to make a condition on a traffic impact study as well, though.
And number
You know, we don't want to just,
6 requires a traffic study to come back.
oh, you've already got that. That's
there we
true. Okay.
So we just
Yeah,
have right in, right
but
out?
with the traffic study, you know this better than anybody, you can make it say that it can take a left turn, and so I would rather put the condition that we can trump that
No, I
traffic study.
agree. I'm not opposed to saying the right in, right out. I'm just saying it needs to have a traffic study, which is already in there. There you go.
Okay, I think I know.
I think the applicant wants to say something else before you make a motion.
Okay with that, the right in, right out is kind of the plan on those ones.
Okay.
I don't think we'll be going across it, so if we
Yeah,
can put.
I just want to put that in the motion to make sure that
Yep, that
it makes sense to support your development
Yeah.
Right in, right out.
Yeah, we just want to make sure all the options are on there. Any other comments? Thank you, Jackson.
Yep.
Okay, then I will turn to the commission for a motion.
All right, I'd like to make a motion on item 2.3 to approve it with staff 7 recommendations with an alteration of number 4 to install improvements on Harriman Boulevard and the 82-foot right-of-way access road. I should have already said this. On number 3, to dedicate the right-of-way for Harriman Boulevard and 82-foot access and any additional needs for the radiuses of the sidewalk. And an alteration to number 5 to say that driveway access along Harriman Boulevard is only permitted in a right-in, right-out only.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, a motion by Adam and a second by Brody. And we'll start on this side with Lauren.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and Andrew.
Yes.
Thank you, and we'll move on to item 2.4, which is a request for a 2-year extension, and we'll turn to the city staff.
All right, so this was just a one-lot subdivision we did a couple years ago. The plat never got recorded, so the subdivisions expire after 2 years if the plat hasn't been recorded yet. So the applicant is asking for an additional 2 years, a 2-year extension, in order to give them a little more time to get the engineering done and get the plat recorded.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't think so. Is the applicant here? If you come up to the mic, just state your name, and if there's anything else you'd like to share, that'd be great.
My name is Natalia Samolenko. We were planning to start last year, but 2 older sons decided to marry in 1 year. So, that put us on a hold, and we have a 7-year break because our youngest one 14, so hopefully we'll start next year, hopefully.
All right. Thank you. Is there any questions for the applicant?
No.
All right, thank you. You can have a seat.
Thanks.
We'll turn to the Planning Commission for any comments.
I don't have anything.
I think this one's pretty straightforward, so we'll turn to the Planning Commission for a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion on item 2.4 to request a two-year extension for the, subdivision.
I'll second that.
A motion by Brody and a second by Adam, and we'll start with this side with Lauren.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and Andrew.
Yes.
That item passes, and we will move on to the legislative items, which are items that are on for recommendations to the City Council. And we'll start off with item 3.1, which is on for a public hearing, but we'll turn to the city staff to start.
All right, this is a rezone. This is in the same area we were just in by the Auto Mall, to rezone this one lot from A1 to C2 for commercial. So you can see where we are here, just again, north of Harriman Boulevard, just a little bit west of the Auto Mall and the other commercial properties. So they are just rezoning to C2 to fit in with the other commercial that would be going in around this. So again, the 2 lots we just approved were just right over here. This is the Auto Mall. These people here in the middle have also applied to rezone to C2, so again, we're anticipating commercial all along this frontage here. Right now, again, we're just approving a rezone, no site plan, no anything else at this point, just rezoning it to get ready.
All right,
Any
thank you.
questions?
Help me out. What's the anticipated zoning just east? Those chopped up.
What's the zone here?
C2, I think.
No, not the west, the east side, right there.
This is all A1
Okay,
right now,
right now.
but they've all applied for C2, so.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Okay, then we'll ask the applicant to come up, just state your name, and please share any additional information you may have that's relevant.
Hi, Ken Olson. I don't really have anything to add other than what staff just said. If you have any questions, I could try to answer those, but really don't have a site plan at this time, so.
All right, I appreciate it. We might call you back up for questions, but if you can have a seat right now.
Make him walk back and forth a couple times.
Yeah. Got to get your 10,000 steps in. We'll turn to the public for the public hearing portion of this. So we will open that up now. And we'll close the public hearing at this time. And we'll turn to the Planning Commission for any additional comments. Or if there's any questions. I'm guessing at this point there may be none.
Just have a quick, I assume this conforms to general plan?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then we'll turn to the Planning Commission for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion on item 3.1 to recommend approval to City Council of item 3.1 with staff's recommendations.
Motion by Adam, second by Lauren. And we'll start off with Lauren,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
and Andrew.
Yes.
And we'll go to the last item, which is item 3.2, which is a text change to the definition. And this is on for a public hearing, but we'll turn to the city staff.
All right, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Currently, the ordinance prohibits retail tobacco specialty businesses. There was some question as to whether that included vaping and electronic cigarettes and all different types of that. So after a lot of research in the state statute, which I put all in your staff report so that you can read it all, the state defines it, by the state definition, we believe that the vaping and all that is included under the tobacco. But in order just to be clear in our ordinance, we want to add this proposed phrase anyway. Again, just to make it clear to us and residents or potential businesses looking at it, that it is included, that it is part of this definition. But like I said, we don't have to do anything necessarily. By state statute, it's already part of that definition, but this is just clarity. Yeah.
So I have one simple question.
Okay.
In the red text, it says 26-28-2.
Yeah?
And in your staff report, it says 26-38-2.
Okay, which one do we think it is?
Which one's the right one?
Well, I have it right there and it says 38. Right, I have 26 dash 38.
You have it twice there, so I'm guessing this one's probably
38?
right.
I'm good with it. I just
38.
wanted to make sure. Because in
It's 38.
the actual text edit, it's
Yeah, I
28.
see that now. I see that.
Okay.
I blame John.
No worries.
No, just
because we can. Just say,
I
good
wrote
catch,
it. I'm
Adam.
not blaming John. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'd hate for you.
Thanks for throwing
You did
us
that,
a
you did
Easter
that on
egg. I
purpose.
appreciate it. Appreciate
Just
it.
to see.
That's it. Any questions?
I don't think so. The applicant's the city, so I assume we're good there, Bryn?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Then we will open this up for a public hearing. And if I see no one that wants to share any comments, I will close the public hearing at this time. And I will turn to the Planning Commission for any additional comments.
Make a motion.
I think we're good. Let's turn
All
to
right.
the Planning Commission for motion.
Go ahead and make a motion that we recommend for approval of the City Council, item 3.2, the text change.
With that one tweak.
With
in text.
that one tweak, thank you, that
Make it
it is Utah Code 26-38-2.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Andrew and a second by Adam, and we'll start with Andrew,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
and Lauren.
Yes.
And that will conclude the legislative items. Are there any other comments from the commission?
I have one brief one. Can you go back to the last zoning map that you guys had? Is there a way you guys could put a GIS layer together that's the proposed zoning that we've moved, it's in some phase of proposed?
So that we can see all the commercial over here, whatever.
So we can see what we've actually done, because I know we've already talked about it. Can we,
Yes. Craig says yes.
can we do that just in the future? I think it'd be beneficial.
It's not always. like this one, right, where there's so many around it.
Yeah.
That we've done that. So just, I'm curious if we could make a layer called proposed and we just kind of keep that going. That's all. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, then future meetings, the city council will be meeting Wednesday, April 10th at 7 p.m. The planning commission meeting actually had on the agenda for Thursday, April 18th, but that will be canceled at this time. So our next meeting will be in May. I will turn to the planning commission for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.